Today we are going to bleed the brake system of the bike, and these are the equipment and tools that we are going to use. Besides ensuring that the level where you are going to perform this procedure, the ground is leveled, it is straight, is to use newspapers around the wheel where the bleeding is going to take place, plus to find a way to ensure that the wheel is not going to move left and right. The reason why we put these stones in the wheel to keep it steady is because if the wheel moves left and right, this master cylinder brake fluid reservoir, since the cap is going to be off, some brake fluid might spill out. Here you can see how I used the plastic garbage bag. I used it to ensure that even if brake fluid drips out, it will not fall in my plastics or in the metal surfaces that I don't want them to be discolored. Here you can see I have actually pressed this, so it is applied very good here. The brake fluid color is now brown. It's not transparent. The reason that it changed color and it's not now suitable is actually because this DOT3 and DOT4 brake fluids are polyglycol based. This means that they are hygroscopic and that they absorb water. In fact, the water that they absorb is around 2% of their volume in water. This happens every year, 2% every year, so in 2 years you've got 4% of water inside your system. And the consequences are your brake feels softer, it does not perform as well as in the beginning, plus this fluid, because it has got water inside, it can cause the components of the brake system to corrode. So as a general rule, you should every 2 years you should make this change as part of your maintenance. Master cylinder reservoir, clean it well, maybe with a wet wipe. Then we have two simple Phillips screws. So we take our common screwdriver to open the cap. On this hand, hold the clean rag and slowly take off the cap. Next we take the other plastic out. Now we take the rubber diaphragm out again very slowly, and take some cotton and another plastic bag, dip it a bit inside, clean cotton, so that it can absorb part of the fluid. We want to lower the level so that we take it out. You can also use a syringe if you want, in the plastic bag. I'm going to show you now another important part inside the reservoir in this bike. As you can see, this round metallic thing that I'm zooming, this is actually sort of a valve. You do not want to miss this, because if you miss it, then whenever you press the lever to push the brake fluid downwards, brake fluid might come out from here with force. So make sure you don't lose this. Of course it is sealed. Do not never put unsealed brake fluid. Fill it almost until the top. Take your cap from the bleeding nipple out, or from the bleeding valve container, drill a hole inside, put a transparent tube so that the brake fluid comes inside here, and then the other end. First pass your wrench, your 8 size wrench inside, and then put the other end into the nipple or the bleeding valve, like this. Now we are ready to bleed the right side. So press and pump the front brake a few times, then hold, and then crack open the bleeding valve. Do not let go of the front brake, keep it there. As you can see, fluid comes out, then close the valve again without letting go of the brake, then let go. Repeat the same procedure until you see that the brake fluid that comes out is the new one and it has got no bubbles. Do not forget to fill at all times so that the level of the reservoir does not go below 1/3. Otherwise you will introduce air to your braking system. I came from the other side. Before we were bleeding the left brake. Now we come to the right caliper. Again we remove the plastic or rubber cap from the nipple or the bleeding valve, and the procedure is exactly the same. For this right side, if you are alone, you need to stand in front of the bike. Continue pumping the front brake lever. Pump it like 4 times or 5 until you feel some resistance. Then come down to your wrench into the bleeding valve, crack it open, and you can see some of the fluid running. Then with your lever pressed tight again, and then let go. We finished also the right side, and meanwhile, while pumping and bleeding, we always make sure that our level does not go below 1/3 of the reservoir, so we fill with brake fluid. And after finishing the right side and the left, now we will come back to the right side for better results and repeat the procedure. The reason why you don't see the bottle filled too much is because I am emptying it in a measuring cup. I want to be sure what quantity I have passed from the pumping system. From the right side, pump, hold, crack open, let the brake fluid flow, tight, let the lever go. Again, pump 3 or 4 times until you feel the resistance, then crack open, let the brake fluid flow, tight, let the lever go. Last thing is, after making the bleeding from both sides, we top with brake fluid. Next, this rubber membrane is the diaphragm that I told you before. This goes afterwards. Make sure that you clean it from both sides. Give it a good clean, and its job is actually to, when the level drops down from the reservoir, it does this. It goes down. It is getting sucked down to not leave a big gap. This membrane is also very important for us because up here it keeps as much humidity and water as it can. To mention that some bikes on the right side, usually, they have got some kind of breather, and then when you're putting the caps back, you need to be careful if there is a breather, but in this case it doesn't have one. Have a clean rag to wipe any excess of the fluid coming out. And now the final is the cap, that again it has to be clean, and remember that when you're looking at the cap, you should be able to, when you're riding, to read the letters. Tighten the screws. And next we are going to bleed from one side, the right side, one last time, because we topped the reservoir. Now that we are almost done, remove carefully the plastic bag if some fluid has dropped there, and then with a bit wet rag, give it a good wipe. If some fluid came in contact with the metal of your reservoir or with any other surface, this is the last time. Do some pumping to your brake lever, and then open for the last time the bleeding valve. Don't forget to clean the area around the bleeding valve. Don't forget to tighten the bleeding valve with your torque wrench. The specified torque for the front braking system is 7.5 Newton meters. That's it. And of course do the same from the other side and put the rubber caps on. So now the last step is to dispose appropriately the brake fluid that came out, similarly either to some gas station or some serving area. Put it in an empty bottle and dispose it appropriately, and think about the environment. I want to thank you for watching this video.